All right, let's move on then and take a look at what's going on the ground there in Diepsloot. Let's get the latest from our reporter, Mbalenhle Mthethwa, who is there for us. A very good afternoon once again to you, Mbalenhle. All right, talk to us about what's currently happening at this time.
Well, Flo, if you look behind me, the location has somewhat changed. We've moved back to the home of the resident where you understand that there was that incident that took place late last night. We are at the home where the widow has been whisked away on fears and concerns for her safety. It seems as though there are NGOs that have come along and a political party from Zimbabwe has also come along to try and rescue the lady from the community after following fears and concerns over her safety following the incident that took place in the early hours of this morning. I'm joined by one of the spokespeople from ZAPU. This is one of the oldest, not oldest, but one of the old parties in Zimbabwe, who's just going to give us a sense of what has happened. Thank you so much for joining us, Puti. Are you able to give us a sense of what has happened and why you've chosen to relocate the widow and the family?
The family has met and decided that the widow and the family is not safe here. And for their safety, we are unable to disclose where they have been taken to. But the reason why we came here is to offer solidarity with the family because not only is the death of Elvis Nyati terrible, but the tragic way which he died is a cause for concern for everyone. And as ZAPU, we locate this tragedy in the hands of the ZANU-PF government that has led Zimbabweans to scatter all over the world. And in the same breath, we appreciate the hospitality given to our people by South Africans, although we also appreciate that there is a section of South Africans that has chosen to use violence to mitigate the issues to do with unemployment and the decay in social services.
Now, you've mentioned something about, you blame ZANU-PF for the economic collapse, which has then forced Zimbabweans to flee and scatter all over the world. Are there any efforts, in terms of, as ZAPU to try and at least, change the situation in Zimbabwe?
Our political party ZAPU established a special task force to engage stakeholders in South Africa, including political parties, to ensure that we find a lasting solution to this immigration problem. We, like I said, located to the political situation in our country, and we believe that the solution must be political. And in our engagements with political parties, beginning with the ANC and the ANC government and the EFF and other parties, we are urging all stakeholders to help Zimbabweans find a political solution to their problems, beginning with the preparation for the 2023 national elections, to ensure that electoral and media reforms are effected, and to ensure that the vote is protected. Because as tragic as it is for Zimbabweans to die in foreign lands, it is even tragic to even try and express yourself in an election in Zimbabwe right now.
Okay. Now, you do understand that, this is an unfortunate crime. And it seems as though at the heart of this, and you've mentioned that, it seems as though there's a scapegoating from the South African community regarding the unemployment levels and so on, with many blaming undocumented migrants who are therefore used as cheap labor and so on. Talk to us about some of the concerns that, South Africans have made. How do you receive them as, ZAPU and as a political party?
Firstly, I said it before, we really, really appreciate the hospitality of South Africans who have opened their arms and have welcomed millions of our countrymen in this country. We really appreciate that. But we also appreciate their concerns. I think they are legitimate because the cake is shrinking, social services are dilapidating, and they are justified. What we do not appreciate is that solving these issues must be done violently, And as much as we do not believe that violence is a solution in any manner against any human being, it is worse when black people are attacking fellow black people. And in that regard, we truly give appreciation to comrades in the economic freedom fighters who have shown solidarity, who continue to show solidarity with our people, and not only Zimbabweans, but all Africans resident in South Africa. But we must also call for Zimbabweans resident in South Africa to avoid criminal activities, because then that gives a pretext for some sections in South Africa to take the law into their own hands. So we make this call, we make it publicly as ZAPU, that if you are in South Africa, try to make an honest living and ensure that you respect the laws of the country. But lastly, what is also important is that the justice system in South Africa must be allowed to take its course and bring the culprits, the perpetrators of this heinous crime to book. And Zimbabweans must remain calm and respectful of their neighbors, their South African brothers, and the laws of the country.
Thank you for speaking to us. There you have it, a ZAPU representative speaking to us and calling for calm in the Zimbabwean community living in South Africa, and also calling on those who are in the country to not to involve themselves in acts of criminality. Also just talking about the fact that, you know, they blame ZANU-PF for what has happened and the collapse of the economy in Zimbabwe, which has forced many out of the country to seek a better life elsewhere. It's back to you in studio.